Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ben Crossman, and everyone, hey, I hope you're having a fantastic day because we have a great show planned for you where in the first part of the show, we have a great company called AVITA, and they'll be joining us to talk all about their laptops and, and everything that they do. It's going to be a very interesting show. It's a lot of fun having these manufacturers on the program because you get to see, just what it takes to make a computer, make a system that stands out from the crowd. So really happy to have them. In the second part of the program, we will be doing computer and technology news, a lot of different news stories to cover. And you definitely want to stick around for that. So before we introduce our guests, just one thing, computeramerica.com. That is our website. That is the place where you'll find everything, including a link to our guest website, any articles that we mention, any videos that we show, anything that we do here on today's program can be found in the show notes after the show. Again, computeramerica.com. That's simple. Also, be sure to check out the live video stream, which you can also find at twitch.tv/computeramerica. And there's a lot more going up on the website, so just keep an eye out for it anyways. But in the meantime, everyone, thank you for joining us again. If you're listening to us live on the radio or the podcast or wherever you listen to us, it's perfect. Get ready for some Computer America. And as I said before, our guest today is none other than AVITA. And if you haven't heard of them, then this is a great program for you because you are going to learn all about them. So joining us today is none other than Mr. Michael Honeycutt. He is the Director of Marketing for AVITA. And Michael, how you doing? Welcome on to Computer America.
I'm doing well, Ben, and thank you for having me on.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. So I think first things first, give us a bit of background on AVITA, the company, and give us a bit of background on yourself. When did you start working with them?
Yeah, so AVITA, we're a multinational company here with headquarters in Asia and here in the U.S., and it's comprised of tech veterans who believe that tools we use today need to reflect our lifestyle. So there's a collective enthusiasm for outstanding design and meaningful tech, and that's what come together to make AVITA. Regarding myself, I've been with the company for over 5 years. AVITA has come about in the last 2 years.
I got you. Very, very cool. And of course, we're going to get into just what it is. So why don't you go into a little bit more detail about AVITA's kind of product line? Anyone out there watching the video portion, we are, of course, we're of course checking out the website right now. Talk about, I guess kind of what AVITA really strives for. Is it simply the laptop market? Is this kind of where you landed after a series of different products? Tell us about what you currently offer.
Right now, we're offering 2 laptop models. So one is the Libra, that's the one that you're looking at right now, and we also have the Claris, which was another introductory model. But specifically, we're talking about the Libra, and because it's really an exciting product. 6 really cool on-trend colors. You'll see that they're candy colored. There's some gender-neutral options there for you, and really the whole point of AVITA is that fashion lifestyle aspect, right? I mean, so you can break away from the sea of monochromatic silver and black. You don't have to settle for an industry standard silver, right? And so we've really tapped into that, and we see that there's this conversion of fashion and tech, and that's what we're really aiming for, is somebody who wants a stylish piece of tech that actually represents their life.
Now, when you say that you are trying to blend that aspect of design and tech, why do you think that's overlooked by so many other companies? Like, why do you think that AVITA had a place to come into this market? Because I think that when you look at other companies, of course, your Samsungs, your Dells, your Apples, things like that, they take some, importance in how the pieces look. But yours definitely does have that, what is kind of trendy, what is stylish at the moment, as opposed to the others, which are, as you said, very utilitarian, very monochromatic, and things like that.
I can't speak for why they're probably overlooking that, but I'll tell you that we see it. You see it a lot in the wearables. You're seeing, other companies, especially in headphones and such like that, really experimenting with different styles and colors and patterns and such like that. And that's what we saw, that nobody was really doing it from a hardware side, especially with laptops. And you see in tech alone, there's sort of this stagnant where it's a computer is what a computer is at the end of the day. And so now you're seeing people wanting to stand out, and especially with the millennials and now with the Gen Z, you're starting to see them really explore their self, this individualism, right? There's this concept of being different and wanting to stand out from the crowd. And that's really what AVITA is. It's sort of this counterculture movement, just saying, hey, look, we want to express ourselves through this tech. And so that's why, our leadership saw really a hole in the market there, and we're really exploiting it.
Very, very interesting. And of course, now we are, checking out the video here, and anyone out there wants to go watch it, we have that up there. But even beyond that, you haven't completely, we're looking at a laptop. Anyone out there listening to us on the radio, it's a very thin laptop. I'm sure that you could give us some dimensions on, what exactly it is that we're looking at. But it's, obviously very well manufactured and very thin. But it's not hey, we turned the laptop into this sphere and this is what you use now. It's it's designed to be very fashionable, but at the same time, it looks very, I guess functional would be the word. I'd kind of stick to it.
I spoke about the fashion element of it, but it's functional, right? So you kind of touched on the thinness and the lightness at, just 2.5 pounds, right? So, but beyond that, you're getting great specs, great components as well, right? So you're getting the name Intel, the name, the name brand of Intel, core processors, and you're getting the speed and the performance. So you're getting the RAM, and we have multiple configurations that you can explore from. But so you're getting a really functional laptop that also looks great. And so we tend to talk about the colors, and we talk about the thin and lightness, because that's really what's striking when you see it. But you're also getting a laptop that it can actually be used for business or pleasure, or something that you can take with you all day and enjoy it.
I gotcha. Now, and of course, looking at this, and we're going to talk about the Claris in just a second, but the Liber, I mean, this is your take on an Ultrabook. This is thin, this is light. Talk about the price point, because that's not the part that stands out here. I've seen other Ultrabooks, in kind of this category, and your price is coming in way below some of the other ones that I've seen.
Yeah, so ours start at $699. So it's not exactly a budget laptop, and that's not where we want to be. We're not a budget laptop, and because we think that, we know that we have some quality components, right? All aluminum construction, glass trackpad, and so forth. But we see it's sort of this designer piece that's attainable, right? It's aspirational. It's something beautiful to look at. And with that opening price point at not breaking the bank, it's something that can compete with your other manufacturers out there, but also look better.
Absolutely. Now, and of course, speaking about the specs, I wanted you to touch on that again because, hey, we're a tech show.
Yeah.
Core i5, Intel, any kind of speeds you have on that? Is that, I know that they have like 3.6.
Yeah, so it's a 1.3 with the turbo for the Core i5. And then with the solid state drive, so we've got a couple of different options. You've got 128 or 256. I think we're talking about 128 on the website, but if you visit our Amazon web store, so it's amazon.com/AVITA, you can see some different configurations. We also have RAM options there, so you can get 4 gig or 8 gig. So, plenty of RAM, for multiple tabs and running applications in the background, and also the processing speed to kind of get you through all those applications as well.
That is actually a good thing to kind of highlight. Which, I guess, kind of group are you really targeting? Because there's, and when you look at the marketing for computers, this can range anywhere from students to professionals who travel a lot to gaming sector. What groups would you say are kind of best suited for something like the Libre?
Yeah, so broadly speaking, it's anybody who is looking for a stylish and capable laptop, right? So that's my broad answer. But I think it could be anybody, really, as far as business use, or it could be a leisure laptop. I don't think that we're going after the hardcore gamers. I don't think we would satisfy them with the specs that are at least on the Libre as they are.
Yeah.
But it's somebody who needs a dependable laptop, somebody who needs a device to get work done, that also likes to stream at night. And shop and do their browsing. It'll accomplish all of that.
Now, and of course, poking through the website, you have some other features here. We talked about the the physicalness of it, very light, very portable. You also mentioned here oversized trackpad. That's something a little bit different. Do people enjoy that?
They love it because of all the gestures, right? So Windows has all the gesturing options, and that gives you plenty of real estate to accomplish that. And then also, it's just the feel of it. We've had a lot of compliments just on the feel and the responsiveness of the trackpad alone. And then obviously you have this really beautiful diamond cut beveling around it that really sets it off.
Definitely. And then security.
Reader, and obviously you can, Windows allows you to set up multiple users, but that adds that certain level of security. And speaking to the business case, another kind of a great feature to have if you are using and carrying sensitive documents with you in the computer.
I've never used the a fingerprint reader myself because none of my computers kind of came with it, but I have had friends who use it, and I got to say that I think that there's a feature where if you get tired of putting in passwords over and over and over again, you can actually use your fingerprint scanner to log into your banking website or other common websites. So another nice quality of life.
Yeah, I mean, right. It's super convenient, and it's on par and it's on trend with tech, right? I mean, a lot of devices have deployed that technology, and the great thing is it's super responsive. So our fingerprint reader is really quick. I mean, so it's faster than it would take the time for you to type in a password, or Windows allows you to do like a pen. That fingerprint reader is just super convenient.
Absolutely. And, of course, looking here, you have all the specs up here. Everything looks really good. Definitely, built-in webcam, Bluetooth, all that good stuff. And just real quick, the battery life says it lasts about 10 hours, so it's going to last you all day, hopefully, right?
Yeah. We always say from morning latte to evening cocktail, and that's sort of really an expression of how we see our users, right? I mean, they're taking them through all the day because we're talking about something that's light, something that's portable, takes with you, all day. So, I mean, you're going to a coffee shop and then all the way to the evening, as we spoke early. So business to leisure.
How long has the Libre kind of been to market? Did you just come out with this in the past couple of months, past year?
Yeah, great question. So we came and it's a Libre launched fourth quarter. It was, just around Thanksgiving, Black Friday.
And I guess kind of going forward, and you don't have to give me any kind of concrete plans, but I guess for this lineup, do you see yourself trying to position it into big box office stores? I mean, or is it just strictly Amazon? How are people going to be able to
Always
get this?
Evaluating opportunities with other channels. Right now, we're doing really well on Amazon, and that is a great market for us because a lot of our our target consumers are shopping on Amazon. They love it for just the convenience of it and to have the ability to see the reviews and everything right there. So Amazon is a big successful e-tail channel for us, but we're always going to evaluate channels such as your big box. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the one thing that you don't normally see with with other vendors, and really this is kind of first, but it makes perfect sense if you're going to be traveling with a laptop like this. You have cases, and and then of course we'll go back to the other to the other laptop. But I wanted to kind of point out that you do offer cases for people to kind of keep their computer safe.
And the cases are meant to be fun. They're meant to be fun, stylish, and colorful, and hence we call them clutches. And everything is sort of it's a spin on the whole fashion vibe that we're pushing, right? And so it's another thing to express, right? We're all about, and one of our tagline is "Live it up," right? And that "Live it up" it extends a connotation to that individuality. And so the cases are just another example of that.
They definitely look very, very stylish. Designs like I've never seen before. So those are very, very nice. And then with that being said, I wanted to, if you don't mind, just segue really quick over to the Claris. And the Claris looks to be another laptop. So if you could kind of give us an overview of how the Claris is different from the Libre.
Sure. So the Claris is, I would say it's more of, it's got more of the ports. It's a little bit bigger. So the Libre was 12.5 and the Claris is 13.3 as far as screen size, right? You're not going to get the fingerprint reader with the Claris, and you're also missing some of the design embellishments like the diamond beveling that you get in the Libre. It also, one thing we didn't talk about with the Libre actually has a backlit keyboard. The Claris doesn't have. What you gain with the Claris are the ports, right? So it's got more of the traditional ports, your HDMI out and such. But the storage is the same. So if you need the bigger screen and you want the ports, I think the Claris is a great option. It's the same price. And a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their mind around that, but it's a stylistic thing, and with the Libre, and you're getting a little bit more of that cutting tech versus the Claris. You're getting some more traditional specs, and you're getting that bigger screen.
I definitely see that, and the bigger screen is definitely a great thing. The price being the same is certainly something I wasn't expecting, but at the same time, I'm kind of looking through this, and it seems like both of them are going to be good for portability because they're about the same weight, about the same size. I assume they both fit in the cases that we just mentioned. Yeah.
Go up to a 14-inch, so yeah, you could store either of them.
Very, very cool. So, I mean, this would be great for, I guess, students and things like that. In your, like, I don't know if you do like, market research or things like that, but have you found how people are, kind of using these things where it's like, hey, I wanted something to take to the office to be, quick and simple instead of my home office?
The Claris, or for the Claris and the Libre?
For Claris and the Libre, just kind of best use cases that you find that people said this works really well for this use case.
Right. So, keep in mind, both the Claris and the Libre have the same processor, same RAM, same storage. So, as far as performance and benchmark scores and such like that, they're going to perform right, almost identical. What you're going to see, what we've seen with people with the Claris, somebody who may not want to strain their eyes. Some people are sort of traditional in the sense that they want the bigger screen, right? So they're going to go for the Claris, or they want more physical USB inputs, right? So they're going to want for that. But the Libre whole intention behind the Libre was that design behind portability, right? So we're thinking people who are using the cloud more, people who are utilizing the cloud to store documents and pull them up, and then also it does have the USB-C input on the side. But with the Claris, you have additional ports. So the Claris has been used more traditionally. I think you mentioned this in the office setting, whereas the Libre has sort of gone a different track and is I want to say more a true expression of what AVITA really is about. The Claris was an entry product, and it's actually it's a great product, but we're really leaning in towards the future, towards more of the Libre model.
I gotcha. Now, of course, looking at AVITA, this is a company that I'll be honest, this is kind of my first introduction to AVITA, and they have been around in other markets. I think this is like AVITA's major push into the U.S. for and you can correct me on any of this, but kind of looking into the future, like you said, more things like the Libre. Laptops that are affordable and look good and perform well. Do you think that's just the recipe that AVITA is really trying to hit, or is this just a first of many different kinds of laptops?
No, this is the first of many. I mean, we'll continue down in this vein. I mean, this is something this is our value proposition. I mean, we saw this needing to be addressed, right? This convergence of lifestyle and tech. And then if you look even down to the photography that we use, especially around the Libre, right? It's centered around the user, right? It's the user and how they're using it. And, you were just asking me, how do these people use their tech? Well, everybody lives this life, whether, you're using it to chronicle social media, or you're using it to blog, you may be using it for a business case. That's what we want it to come through in the photography. That's the story that we want to tell, that everybody sort of has this unique identity. And that is the lifeblood of AVITA. And that's how we will continue to promote our products. And, specs and configurations and things may change, but the core value of AVITA will still be we're a lifestyle brand first, offering great technology that will not break the bank.
That and I really do think that's a recipe for success. And I do want to say that I know that or at least I believe just poking through AVITA in some of the other products that are available in other markets, I don't think the imago series smart mirror is available, but AVITA has other products that I'm hoping make their way to the US kind of market. So with that being said, it looks like you have a really cool product here. If people want to find out more, I'm going to let you have last word. Where can they go? Where can they check it out, watch videos, things like that?
You can check us out at avita-americas.com, or you can visit us on Amazon. So amazon.com/AVITA. And Amazon, we're offering quick shipping. And so you can see all the different configurations of the Libre, the Claris models there as well as the clutch cases to protect both the Libre and the Claris.
I see that there. And of course, every other laptop, all the different colors are available there. We'll include links to those in the show notes. And I just want to say that, hey, that was the quick and dirty of it. And Michael, you did a really good job of, kind of breaking that down for us. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of AVITA, because I think the laptop market, it's gotten a little complacent with itself, where style doesn't really seem to matter that much, as long as you put something out there that looks like all the others, it's going to be okay. You have something really special here. So good job.
Well, I appreciate that, Ben, and we thank you for having us on today.
Our pleasure. So until next time, Michael, thank you so much, everyone. AVITA, check them out, avita-americas.com. Michael, until next time, have a great day.
You too, Ben. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, everyone, and there he goes. So, hey, it's just that simple. So, everyone, we're going to go ahead and switch over to computer and technology news. And everyone out there who's joining us in the chat room, thank you so much. And AVITA, thank you for joining us here on the program. It's just that simple. It's, of course, all about laptops. And if you want to check them out, again, computeramerica.com in the show notes. So in the meantime, we have a couple minutes, then the break, but we're just going to go ahead, jump right into computer and technology news. Everyone, I should say thank you for joining us. And yesterday's show, I apologize for no show. The host was down with a cold. You may be able to hear it just a little bit in my voice, but we're moving, we're going strong, and everyone, thank you for tuning in. So here we go. Computer and technology news brought to you by Computer America. Here we go. Okay, everyone. So, with that being said, and let's see, hopefully everything like that is working well. Let's go ahead and turn that down just a little bit. And everyone, okay, now we're gonna go ahead and check out some of these stories. So one of the stories that we haven't mentioned, because this is one of those things that Google hadn't mentioned. And we hadn't been on the air for, a couple of days, so we haven't mentioned it either. Although it's at the same time kind of hard to really, feel bad about this one, because it seems like a part of the technology that's, I don't know. I was not shocked. I was not appalled that this came out, but a lot of people were. So let's break it down. Let's find out why they were. This first story is about, well, who else? Google. Google forced to reveal which products have microphones following privacy backlash. This was weird because obviously Google, they make a lot of different hardware. If you use a lot of their products, then you probably know a lot of them have microphones built into them. But the question was raised after, I believe it was the Google Homes had secret microphones that Google was using only for other Google devices so that they could talk to each other in the same room. No one should be shocked that there were microphones in products that were clearly marked with microphones, but at the same time, they were different microphones than the ones that people knew. So yeah, like I said, let's go ahead and break this one down. So, Google has been accused of violating users' trust after it failed to disclose that its Nest Secure Home Security and alarm system contained microphones. Although, like I said, I think that was obvious. A lot of them do come with microphones, so that if you have some kind of security alert, you can hear what's going on in your house while it's happening. So the company's secret was revealed earlier this month when it announced that voice-activated Google Assistant technology could now be used on the Nest device. The existence of a microphone on the Nest Secure has never been mentioned in any product material for the device, which a Google spokesperson said was an error on the company's part. So they said that the existence of a microphone on the Nest Secure has never been mentioned in any product material for the device. Here's the thing. I think it's the second microphone that's really the on-device microphone was never intended to be a secret and should have been listed on tech specs. Google added that the microphone has never been on and is only activated when users specifically enabled it. So if they never mention it and people only turn it on when they know about it, it seems like an oversight, but whenever I get a security camera, and we've tested quite a number of security cameras here on the show, and mainly IP connected cameras, you should assume that there's a microphone built into it. It's a very easy piece of technology to fold into a security camera and really not all that complicated and kind of demanded at this point, because seeing something is one thing, but being able to turn on the microphone and hear what's happening in your house. So maybe something is happening not within the field of view, or maybe you see something, but you need to hear what's happening as well. That's been a feature of many of these devices, Nest included. So, by the way, comment in the chat room, an error is misspelling microphone in the documents. This seems a bit too willful. So, yeah, they're saying that the complete omission of a major function of the device is a bit more than an error. That, as you said, Mentor Snowflakes, that's a bit too willful. Could be. But like I said, it's just seems so obvious to so many people. And I know that that's not the route Google should take. Google should never take a look at something and say, well, it was obvious this had a microphone in it. Well, this was obvious that was the way it was going to work. No, that's not Google's job to assume everyone's going to catch on right away. But at the same time, this should come as no surprise. And I don't think anyone's going to be throwing away an SCAM, but yeah, everyone. We'll talk about which products in particular have microphones and more when we come back. More Computer America and computer and technology news right after this. Everyone, stay tuned. Oh, and also computeramerica.com. Check it out, everyone. More Computer America after this.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. That's 800-215-4461.
We are all Brother Wolf. 10 years ago, a group of locals banded together to create positive change. We took animals into our homes, held adoption events at local retailers, and talked to the community about our mission to help build a no-kill Asheville. A decade later, we have achieved so many victories for animals in need. There's been so much progress, yet there's still so much to do. As part of our year-long celebration, we encourage you to become a member of our special Compassionate Circle program. With a monthly donation of $10 or more, you will have behind-the-scenes access to the work we are doing at Brother Wolf. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members because we receive no government funding. Working together, we can help build and sustain no-kill communities. Learn more at compassionatecircle.bwar.org. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 32 minutes past the hour as we continue on here. And everyone, thank you for joining us here on the program. If you missed any part of our conversation, first part of the show was dominated by, of course, our guest, AVITA. If you didn't hear them, then hey, check out the podcast. Anywhere podcasts are heard, search Computer America. We should pop right up. And yeah, that will have everything that we talked about here today. Also, be sure to check out the show notes and everything like that. So everyone, hey, thank you for continuing on with us. So we are now doing computer and technology news. And yeah, we're going to wrap up the story real quick, then move on to some of these other stories. But first things first, well, hey, Google is now playing the defensive on the fact that some of their products have a built-in microphone that were not included in the specifications. They said that it claimed that the microphone was originally included to the security device to support the addition of new features in the future, such as the capacity to detect broken glass, which again is a which is a feature of a lot of home security systems where it can listen for the exact pitch and sound of glass breaking. And if it picks that up, it will alert 911, things like that. So, like I said, Google knows or I should say Google, A microphone is so cheap and so easy to fold into a device like a security camera. It's a matter of why wouldn't you rather than why would you. The problem is that when you don't include it, and while they never gave it the exact functionality that you would assume, they said that in the future they might. So I guess because it was not an active feature, like it's not something that you could use right away, they didn't feel the need to kind of alert people. But I don't know. It's putting a camera in your home to protect yourself, and then finding out that there's a microphone in a camera that you place in your home, and then feeling like you've been violated. I don't know. The thing is a flipping camera. I don't see how you can be surprised that there's a microphone built in as well. But there you go. They have since, kind of mentioned it. And yeah, there you go. Google's failure to disclose the existence of the microphone in any product documentation is particularly concerning. Many are likely to see this omission as deliberate secrecy rather than thoughtless error. Honestly, Google is made up of people. People make mistakes. I think that they should definitely own up to it and say, hey, by the way, there is this feature. But at the same time, it's not like they found a microphone built into a bar of soap. It's not like they found a microphone built into something that was not meant to monitor. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to get too worked up over this. It seems more like a something that someone was careless with more than being, purposely subversive. So there you go. Everyone, there's that story. Link in the show notes. Now, our next story that we're going to do, and we have a couple of great ones, but I really like this one because it's from a company that you've probably heard of. And if I say their mascot is a bunny with a giant drum, then you probably know, hey, that's Energizer. Incorrect. You'd be correct. Energizer has a smartphone. Who knew? The P18K Pop is basically a giant battery with a smartphone built into it. And this coming to us from TechCrunch, Lucas Matney, and yeah, something about a battery company making a smartphone, because so often we hear about smartphone companies and how they just don't have a good enough battery built into the smartphones. And we hear that which smartphone has the best battery. Well, now we have a battery company maybe making a decent smartphone. And then what happens? And then you have smartphone companies versus battery companies. So let's see what happens. They say that this is the future you asked for. When people read smartphone reviews, one of the first things they want to know is the battery life, as we said. At the Mobile World Conference in Barcelona, or as I'm sure the locals would call it, Barcelona, phone maker Avenir Telecom is turning heads with an Energizer branded behemoth that packs a punch. So okay, and they actually say it in the article here, but this is something that you should know. The Energizer, the P18K Pop, has an 18,000 milliamp battery built in. So 18,000, if you want to put that into perspective, many smartphones, including the best of the best iPhone and Samsung phones, they top out, I think, at around 4,000, maybe 4,500. Most of them are in the 2,500 to 3,500 range. So for this thing to have 18,000, you're looking at a battery life that is 5 times as much. Yeah, 5 times as much as an ordinary phone. Yeah, this thing might actually last you all day. So they said that consumers haven't been psyched about manufacturers' never-ending desire to trim thickness from their phones. That's not an issue with the P18K. And if you're watching the video portion, you can see a picture of it here. They tweet a picture here, and you can kind of see it. Where take a traditional smartphone, if you kind of recall, about half the size of a deck of cards. This thing is a full-blown size deck of cards. It's yeah, it's a decent 18 millimeters thick, 2 inches. Let's go ahead and punch that into Google. So yeah, 0.7 inches. And when you always talk about smartphones, which are always, 0.3 inches, 0.2 inches, something that is 2 or 3 times the thickness, but gives you 5 times the battery life, oddly enough, I think people are actually going to go for it. And you can see an example here of what this phone would look like as opposed to some of its competition. Yeah, 3 or 4 times thicker. And all of that thickness, again, it may look like a brick, but all that thickness is being devoted to its battery. So ask and you shall receive. Consumers, and so it's abundantly unclear how big the market is for this chunkster, but they say that they will start shipping them to customers sometime this summer. Yeah, favorite that. And oh wait, we're not logged in. I would totally retweet that. Interesting. So yeah, that's an 18,000 milliamp battery. It's pretty, pretty impressive. And of course, they didn't give any of the other specs that came with it, because those are of course important too. I think it runs on Android, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, this would not be an iOS device, but hey, it's if you are tired of phones that keep dying on you, this could be it. Although I will say that when it comes to smartphones, one of my favorite purchases for my smartphone was a rechargeable external battery case. So it would be the case of the phone that you could charge, and you could then give your phone a charge from your phone case, essentially doubling or tripling the battery life. If you're one of those people that really hates having a dead phone, and you don't feel like jumping ship to this brick of a battery, then consider buying a built-in battery phone case. It's life-changing. There you go. So there you have it. And yes, this is for everyone out there who also, maybe needs to upgrade from one of their other phones. There you have it. Okay, now, because we've been off the air for a couple of days now, we did not mention this one either. And this one is important because it's about 1 terabyte micro SD cards. That's right. And I remember it was not too long ago that we were talking about half terabyte. Now we are at full-blown 1 terabyte micro SD. Micro SD, yes, they're the little chips about the size of your thumbnail and about the same thickness. And these things are bigger than most people's hard drives now at this point. Saying that, and this coming to us from The Verge, talking about 2 different companies, not just one, 2. 2 different companies will be manufacturing these things. They said that Micron and Western Digital SanDisk, so Micron and SanDisk, 2 of the companies, have both launched UHS-I micro SD XC products today at the Mobile World Congress, and which will be good news for anyone looking at Samsung's new 1 terabyte Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. And 1 terabyte. Saying that of the 2 cards, Western Digital is claiming a performance advantage by setting up to 160 megabytes per second versus 100 megabytes per second read speed. So the read speed, whenever you look at hard drives, there's read speed and write speed. Read speed is how fast you can pull information off of a hard drive. So if you're storing, let's say, movies or videos or photos, if you need to transfer, let's say, a full 1 terabyte of data off of your micro SD card, then it's going to take you, 60% longer if you use Micron as opposed to Western Digital. Little things like that. The write speed, that's also important, but at the same time, they said that that's important, but the throughput, as long as you can do the thing that you're trying to do, which is, something like this would really appeal to people who take high quality photographs or 4K, 4K 60 FPS video, people like that, you're going to want faster write speed, but as long as it covers your basics, then you're going to be good to go. So looks like Western Digital, even though Micron is a little bit better when it comes to write speed, read speed is going to be really the main thing, I think, for a lot of people. Now, here's the harder part. Whereas the 500 gig micro SD card would run you about $200, and don't get me wrong, $200 just for storage, that's crazy, especially when you consider the price of hard drives and things like that. You are paying a premium, a huge premium for the storage, for the form factor. I think that traditional hard drives, they're somewhere around like 3 cents or 2 cents a gigabyte now. And now you're looking at somewhere around 50 cents. So a 500 gig will run you $200, whereas the 1 terabyte micro SD card is going to run you about $450. You are paying a premium. So about 45 cents per gig, you're paying a premium for the form factor. But this does save people, like in the right field and to the right audience, this is something that is sorely needed. It's just that market, the people who actually are asking for something like this, it's really only the enthusiast / professional photographer area. So there you go. That's all I have to say. So micro SD cards, check that out. It's they should be available, I think, here shortly. They said in April, so a couple of months from now. And yeah, hey, the march of technology and the miniaturization of technology goes on and on. And I read a fun little comment on Reddit about this article where someone had done some math saying that pigeons pigeons in a network, even with things like packet loss or pigeons getting lost or things like that, if you wanted to transfer X amount of terabytes or petabytes of information, it would actually be faster to arm homing pigeons with these 1 terabyte cards. It would be faster than it would be to transfer something over fiber optic cable. That's right. These things are, it shows that miniaturization is progressing faster than network connectivity. So there you go. Little fun fact there for you. The internet never ceases to amaze. Okay. There's that story, and now we have a lot of different ones. I think, and obviously a lot of it has to do with the Mobile World Congress that happened out in Barcelona yesterday. But I think I also want to, all right, you know what? Since we're on the topic, let's go ahead and do it. Now, this is everything you need to know about the Galaxy Fold, the Huawei Mate X, and the Royal Flex Pi. So this is all foldable phones. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. So foldable phones, they weren't even a thing. They weren't even a thing until like CES. And then one company came out, I think it was like Royal came out with theirs, and then Samsung said that they were going to come out with theirs. And now look at us, we're staring down the barrel of 3 different formats of foldable phones. Over the past few years, new handsets haven't had a lot to distinguish themselves from the competition. Now, we've seen more powerful cameras and larger screens, but the basic designs have been a bit stuck. And of course, however, in the past week, both Samsung and Huawei have showcased bendable devices that can unfold from pocket size into larger tablet-like screens. That's right. So they said, however, in the past, and companies like Oppo and TCL are also showing off their own concepts. Although those are only prototypes. In terms of what you'll be able to buy soon, we've taken the incoming Galaxy Fold and the Mate X and faced them off against the Royal Flex Pi. So yeah, and they have a nice little chart here. We're going to go over some of the highlights, but yeah, we're looking at multiple foldable devices. And unfortunately, none of them come cheap. Now you can see the prices here, everything from like the Galaxy Fold, and I think the Galaxy Fold, especially in the US market, the Huawei and the Royal, they just don't have the market presence that Samsung does. So the Galaxy Fold coming in at about $2,000. I know we were complaining, we were belly aching when the iPhone came in at like $1,400, when the Samsung Galaxy S9 came in at like $1,200. Folks, it can get worse. $2,000 for a foldable phone. The Huawei Mate X or 10, however the heck they want to say it, $2,600, and the Royal FlexPi coming in at $1,300. The dimensions really don't matter all that much. I think that they're all going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of like when they're folded out, they're all going to be in the neighborhood of like a 7-inch tablet. And then of course, when they're folded up, they're going to be, more akin to like a smaller smartphone, not like a larger, phone, but a smaller smartphone, and then fold it out to a smaller tablet. So they're all going to be in the 7-inch tablet kind of range, and then half that for their phone part. Weight, I don't think people are really too concerned about the weight. The weight is just what it's going to be. Screen size, like I said, 7.3 inch, 8 inch, 7.8 inch. That's just what you're going to expect. Screen resolution seems to be, not standard at all, but at the same time, decent. All better than 1080p. Like in some cases, 2152 by 1536, 1920 by 1440, 2480 by 2200. All of it at screen resolution at that size, it's going to look good. It's just a matter of what's going to look the best. And judging by, the kind of what we're looking at here, looks like the Huawei actually might have the best with an OLED screen. Very, very cool. Battery, here's the cool part. 4,500 milliamp, as we mentioned in a previous story. That's one of the biggest batteries that we've seen in some of these devices. So I don't know how much they're going to draw because they're going to have a larger screen to display things, but it's probably going to keep you somewhere in the neighborhood of current smartphones. But the bigger battery size just has to be there to accommodate the additional screen afforded to you by this. So yeah, and so external storage, MicroSD, an M card, none. Let's see, a couple cameras. Yep, all that there. And, we're going to throw this chart up there if you want to check it out for yourself. But overall, I'll just say, if this form factor doesn't appeal to you, if you don't sit down and really watch videos, then this really won't be something that it's like, hey, I have to have a foldable smartphone. No, this is just something that is going to appeal to a certain kind of people. Those people are going to really be media consumers on their phone, which, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of you out there. But if, let's say like you're someone in the chat room, maybe you'd rather have a full-blown computer and you could, probably utilize that better. Then, hey, for $2,600 or for $1,300 at the low end, $2,600 at the high end, you could probably get something much bigger and better and faster, but you're paying a premium for the form factor. And the form factor is, again, a foldable phone. So there you have it. That's about all we have on that one. And I did want to squeeze this story in as well. It's, USB 3.2. Not too long ago, we had did we have the association for the USB? I think we had the it was HDMI. We had the association for HDMI 2.1 on the show. And standards are something that I get pretty excited about. Because when a new standard is ratified, when everyone agrees that, hey, this is what is coming and this is what we need to plan for, then people can start to utilize the hardware. And that's where we are with the ultra-fast USB 3.2 is coming to desktop PCs in 2019. If you needed any other reason to upgrade, here we go. USB 3.2, it's a thing. And so the speedy USB 3.2 format has technically been ready for the better part of 2 years, but it's finally ready to be in a PC near you. The USB IF standards body has revealed that the 3.2 capable controllers will be available in later 2019, hinting that you'll see it in desktop PCs. So to put it another way, you could buy a gaming rig or workstation that handles up to 20 gigabits per second speeds through a very ordinary port. And don't get me wrong, there have been other ports that could do that. As it says later in the article here, you could already get 40 gigabytes per second through things like Thunderbolt 3. But here's the thing. Thunderbolt, I think, is a product of Apple. Apple uses it for some of their hard drives and things like that. It's not as widely used as USB. USB is like pretty much the de facto standard. And even beyond that, Thunderbolt is not as good as USB for transmitting power. So if you wanted to charge a phone through USB, if you wanted to charge a device, having the throughput and the ability to charge something in a quick and meaningful fashion, that's the future that you're looking at. Now, of course, the article says you might not want to get too excited, saying that you probably won't see compatible motherboards and PCs until the middle of the year. Moreover, the peripherals that you'll need to take advantage of the USB 3.2 aren't likely to show until sometime later. Obviously, you don't want to put something on the market that no one can use. So this is why standards are important. It might be 2020 before all the pieces fit into place, and that's not counting laptops or mobile devices. Of course, USB 3.2 could make very high speeds relatively commonplace and spur the creation of laptop docks, extra quick external SSDs, and other devices that want as much bandwidth as possible. That's the point, is that if you have 20 gigabits per second dedicated to a single USB slot, then hey, you could have external hard drives that are SSDs, and the bottleneck is simply not your USB anymore. And that is the point, is that you're removing just another piece of the puzzle that would throttle your otherwise solid connection. And I'm not saying that hard drives aren't going to be the problem, or that the cables themselves won't be the problem, because people will have outdated cables or things like that. But when you have the controllers and they're good to go, then everything else can start to be upgraded around that. This is the first step to a much better future. There you go. And and of course, as Chatroom said, great for video and audio editing. Having that throughput, having that back and forth, through the cable means that you could, for any working professionals out there, or, to bring it even closer to home, I recently had to do a backup for a computer in the house here. Doing that over the local area network, because we're connected through the same home network, and having to do that over an internet connection, it's not through USB, but trust me, when you have to transfer a couple hundred gigabytes, it's not even a lot. Really, for backup, a couple hundred gigabytes is really not that much. But when you start to see those speeds and you start to see some of those bottlenecks, you say to yourself, wow, I wish that was faster. This is the beginning of that. So yeah, and as I said, it takes hours. Trust me, I left it on all night long, and I think as of this moment, it's still going. So we're coming up on about 14, 15 hours. So it's not the fastest process, but it should be backed up. And hey, we're taking our advice to heart. Backup, backup, backup. Don't back up anything you don't mind losing, or in other words, only back up something that you really can't afford to lose. So everyone, back up. Okay. And hey, not a lot of time here left. The only story we didn't get to that I really wanted to mention was to keep an eye out for Google. Google could be coming into a whole new area, and it could spur innovation because, hey, new competitors, you end up with some good stuff. So Google, you know them, been talking about them a lot. Google reportedly poaches Intel, Qualcomm, and NVIDIA engineers for their G-chip team. Now, don't get me wrong. As a computer enthusiast, as a tech enthusiast, as a gamer, I truly wish that Google would get into the processor and the processor video card arena, but I have no qualms, or I really do think Google is looking into mobile processors. They're all the rage, and I'm sure Google wants to build them themselves. So everyone, until next time, music means that we're just about done. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat room. G-Chips now built-in microphones, absolutely. So thank you for joining us in the chat room. Thank you for joining us here. AVITA, thank you so much for joining us here on the program. Check us out at computeramerica.com, where we will put up the show notes later today. And until next time, everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much. And tomorrow on the program, let me get this right, we should have none other than Scott Schober, our cybersecurity expert, here on the program. Until next time, everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.